2022. 3 matches on the cards today and tonight at 7 p.m. on Signet. Yes, KBC Channel 1 is bringing you the encounter between Senegal and the Netherlands, the Lions of Teranga against the Oranje. So look out for that, but also remember that right here, I'm going to have a Dunda Qatar this afternoon, and also remember the pre-match analysis coming to you from around 6:15 p.m. Plus, lots of the highlights and other packages all around the World Cup. Well, it is a day where, there is a conversation, following a decision that was made by Kiambu Governor Dr. Kimani Wamatangi yesterday about the integrity of buildings. But at Kwale, the Institution of Engineers of Kenya is hosting a conference, and this is about ensuring that there is some clarity and also some integrity around all the work that people do. And also, His Excellency the President, Dr. William Ruto, is going to be meeting with the President of the Democratic Republic of Congo, Felix Tshisekedi, and this is in Kinshasa before he comes back and travels to South Korea. Just part of the stories that we're going to be keeping up on. And remember also, this is examinations week. We're getting into the examinations season, so there's a lot of consultations. We've seen the kinds of rains that have been here, some very heavy, so we're going to be also keeping up with what's happening on that front. But on Sports Check today, it's all about the World Cup. Kwa sababu World Cup iko KBC. The opening match and the opening ceremony, we all watched it tomorrow. So we're going to be doing that. But we won't start with an analysis, an analysis about the game, but we're going to be talking to two people who have done some work that you really would not want to be a part of, but you've got to be very strong and deliver the highest level. We're talking about refereeing. And in studio with me, I have got right here on my immediate left, elite assistant referee, Mary Njoroge. Karibu KBC. Asante. And thank you for coming here. And also, we have got a person who is very good with numbers. Very, very good with numbers. He's actually a university don, but he is known for that one run he made at continental football. It became a meme. Dr. Peter Kamaku, welcome. He is an elite center referee. And also, by the way, Mogo Kariuki, thank you that you're back, and I hope it's not too late for you to become a referee. He is Kenya's only video assistant referee, and he uses cameras like the ones that you have up there at the gallery. So, a whole set of cameras. So, you can become a VAR, but first you have to go and get to his level. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
So, now, let's the whole conversation here we want to talk about is about the laws of the game. And Dr. Ari, let me just start with you about how you would view that one goal that was disallowed, because there's from the referee's eye and also from the VAR eye, because now it gives you as the referee you have only one line of sight, but when you go up there you probably have 25 cameras to work with.
Yes. Thank you. For the game yesterday, for the normal person, it was a genuine goal, and everyone celebrated. Even the Ecuador fans celebrated. But as a VR, we are blessed to have many cameras. Okay, so the VR has very many cameras, and the first thing you check as a VR, because that's one of the first things you check. It's about goals. Anytime a goal is scored, the VR must check. Is there an offside before? Is there a foul before? So for the situation yesterday, specifically, we had the goalkeeper went out to go and try to clear. So once the goalkeeper left, he stopped becoming the last person. So we call him now the second last defender.
So he becomes a non-field player?
Yes. So we have the guy who was on near the post, now is the total last person. So the goalkeeper now became the second last defender. And it's not easy, even for me as a VR. I had to consult my assistant Mary to discuss about it. Okay, she's the one who reminded me that the goalkeeper has already gone out. So once he went out, then he becomes the second last defender. When the player played, the player who scored the goal was in an offside position. It's the most. This is the most confusing part of offside. Okay, because usually and naturally we think the goalkeeper is the last man. That's how everyone thinks. The goalkeeper is the last man. But once he goes out, then it becomes different.
Now, what you're talking about, because you're talking about the laws of the game, is law number 11,
yes,
which is the pre-serve of assistant referees.
Yes.
Now, Mary, take us through law number 11, the offside law.
Yeah.
Because this is the one that confuses people a lot.
Thank you. With offside, it's really difficult, especially in such situations. You know, being in an offside position is not an offense by itself. But there are things you do, now you be penalized for being in an offside position. Yesterday, it was a fraction. It was actually the feet. But the law says it's parts of the body, head, part of the body, feet. So it was actually the foot that was offside. So that's why people didn't get it. And the situation yesterday, it's not something we see like every day, where a goalkeeper goes out. And as Peter said, it's the case. So now it's the second last opponent. So the goalkeeper now was the second last. There was someone behind. So for referees, it's not easy as a referee. But for assistants, we are always advised to be cautious when the goalkeeper leaves his line.
And that is basically that 18-yard box, the moment they're out, because I saw that. Even these days, they are considered on-field players, so that is it. Yeah. And so, let me just refer to this, an offside offense. Interfering with play or touching the ball passed by a teammate, or interfering with an opponent. Explain that part of the offside.
Interfering with play basically means playing or touching a ball that is played by a teammate while in an offside position. Remember, being in an offside position by itself is not an offense. But once you play, you touch the ball, that is when you are deemed offside.
All right.
Yeah.
Another practical one that I would like to use is where a free kick is being taken, but you have a player who's standing in front of a goalkeeper, blocking their line of sight.
Yeah.
How would that be interpreted?
That one is interfering with an opponent by blocking his. If he makes actions, any action that prevents the goalkeeper from playing, or any other defender from playing the ball, or being able to play the ball, then he's in an offside position.
Daktari, how would you deal with such a scenario then? Because at least you always have that advantage of, you can see what these guys are doing.
Usually, as a referee, I'm both a referee and a VR. So I have had the privilege of refereeing at touch levels. So usually as a referee, you do what you call prevention. So when you see a player has gone in front of the goalkeeper, the best thing to save the situation is go to that player and tell him, if you move or you disrupt the goalkeeper, then we are going to penalize you. And then you inform your assistant referees very well that there's a player in front of the goalkeeper who may be disrupting. So when he now blocks or he disrupts the player, that's when now you penalize. But you find some situations your player just stands there and does nothing. Okay, so you must be very brilliant or very keen in noticing that.
Okay, and something people don't know. There are 3 scenarios, Mary, where when it becomes that that the case is it is not an offside. There are 3 scenarios. You just explain them.
We have goal kick, we have throw-in, and a corner kick.
And what's the thinking behind that?
With the throw-in, it's simply because the player, they're using their hands. So you cannot be in an offside position from that.
Yes.
You cannot score from a throw-in. With a corner kick, it basically means that the ball, before the ball was played, the ball was in front of all the players. Because you have to be, for it to be an offside, it's you're nearer to the opponent's goal line than both the ball and the second last opponent. So in this case, with the corner, the ball is placed where?
Right at the edge.
At the arc.
And at the arch?
Yes.
And by being in front of everyone means somebody else had played.
Yeah, sure. And the other one is a goal kick.
Yeah, the goal. I think the thinking behind the goal kick, the ball is coming from too far.
From too far.
Okay, so there is no direct advantage somebody is getting from that. But that's the key.
Okay. Now, there is also another one, because I know you also have the laws of the game, and this is where a defending player leaves the field of play. Now, how does that work? Because that is a crazy one that people maybe have never heard of or even thought about.
Now, it depends on where he leaves the field of play. If, allow me just to use the word goal line.
Yes.
Goal line ni for the normal fan ni ile line imetoka kwa kona moja mpaka kona ingine.
Yes.
From one behind the goal. So if a defender leaves on that side, we deem him to be on the line. So until the ball stops, we will assume he is on the line. So there will be no any offside. So,
and in that scenario, for example, it's a player who's received treatment on the field of play and leaves through that point. Now, the good thing, if the player is receiving treatment, he is with the permission of the referee. So that one is not a problem. That one is allowed. So the player who is leaving must have the referee's permission. So if he leaves with the referee's permission, then it's okay. No more play. But if he leaves without referee's permission, that's why we count as if he's on the line. Yes.
Yeah, for the purposes of offside.
For the purposes of an offside.
Yeah.
All right. So, and at what point then are they considered not to be, creating an offside position, an offside line, or being in an offside position by coming back?
The thinking about it is, if players were allowed to leave any time without referee permission, then a player near the goal line would just leave and to create an offside situation. Okay, so that's the thing. Somebody who sees a striker who is faster, he will just leave the field of play. Okay, so the thinking is that once he leaves without the referee's permission, then he will be deemed to be on the line until the ball stops. Until the next play. So when the ball goes out, now we have a whole new issue.
And do you sanction such a player who pulls off such a move?
Yes. A player who leaves the field of play without referee's permission is supposed to be cautioned. Now, for medical reasons, sometimes if it's medical reasons, it's okay. But if it's just unsporting behavior, then it's supposed to be sanctioned with a yellow card.
All right. Now, Mary, I'm sure you can that book that you have that is, you can use it, let's say it's a flag, and the signals that you use.
Yeah.
You could take us through that, because people, at times they just see you lift to the right hand, but they don't know that when you use the left, it means something else.
Yeah, sure.
So, you can do it even when,
Oh, okay. For offside?
Let's start with, first of all, a throw-in, an attacking throw-in or a defending throw-in, or what it means.
With my right, it is a throw-in for attacker. Left, for defenders. Corner kick, that's a corner kick. Of course, I'll be along the touchline.
Yes.
For offside, you first raise the flag to alert the referee offside. After the whistle, then you indicate where the offside was. For far end, it's here, in the middle, and here near me. Yeah. For free kicks, you have to wave a little bit, alert the referee, and then indicate this is for attacker. For defenders, raise, indicate, and then,
So it's basically showing the direction that the ball will take.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Now, let me come now to the other one, and this is all about offenses. First of all, a penalty is a free kick, but you're not allowed to be within the box. Just explain that one first.
Yeah, just a penalty is a direct free kick. Okay, so the penalty is given to an advantage of the attacker. He was maybe in a scoring position and an offense occurred, so he is given the chance to regain the scoring position. So basically, a player, the ball is played, is placed that is 12 yards away from the goal, and all the players, attacking and defending players, are supposed to be outside the penalty area. Usually, people like calling it box. Okay.
Yes.
So, but it's the penalty area, including the arc. So literally is this place and the whole arc. The players are supposed to be outside.
All right. Daktari, we'll be coming back to that. But right now, let's move over to Kilifi County, because Governor Fatuma Achani is hosting the Institution of Engineers in Kenya. Let's catch that press conference.
elaborate and defend, justify their bills. But the common mwananchi may not be in a position to agree with those figures. But I think the institution can also put their voice so that the community can understand why the engineers come up with those figures. So I think this is a good meeting for us to forge a collaboration between your institutions and the county government. So we welcome you, and we are ready to work with you.
Your Excellency, allow me to just give you 2 more additions on engineers. When they present drawings to your team for approval, the calculations and the designs, they are also supposed to have been stamped by the engineer's stamp. Every professional engineer has a stamp, which bears his number and his name or her name. So if it is mine, you see Engineer Rasas Mongera, E133, that is my registration number. Okay. And then my signature on top. If it is the president, the same. Okay. So again, this is a personal commitment that whatever I'm stamping, I stand by it. We have also gone further, and with that government that we have now developed, and the government has approved scale of fees for engineers. So they are not supposed to undercut one another by compromising quality because of price. Because there is a minimum they can charge, just like lawyers, this scale of fees, engineers are also guided by that. They can negotiate around those figures, but nobody will now reduce and make omissions of their designs just to undercut the other one. It is also standardized. These things are on record now, and it's good the governments are aware and they demand to see these things.
Yes, I also just wanted to add something, Your Excellency. I think if you're not able to make it even on Wednesday, we will be ready to receive you on Thursday. Actually, we are here for the whole day. I just wanted to give you that assurance. We are looking forward to receiving about 2,000 physical presence in this county, and about 6,000 people are joining virtually. And therefore, they will really be happy to see Her Excellency Achani.
The first female governor in the Coast region.
On Tuesday, we are having women engineers. So it will be a nice opportunity for you to guys.
And I'm happy we have women as engineers. Yes, first VP and second VP.
Actually, we feel very intimate.
There are more women. More importantly, Governor, we also are taking an activity in the Ukunda Vocational Training College. So we're really making sure that this community benefits from our presence. Okay.
And the other thing, we admire you for your excellence, not only being the first woman governor in Coast. You are also the first deputy governor.
Well, that is a press briefing that is taking place at the office of the Kilifi County Governor, Fatuma Achani, and it's with the Institution of Engineers of Kenya, who are holding a conference in Kwale County. My apologies. We get back to our conversation, and we are with referees Dr. Peter Kamaku and assistant referee Mary Njoroge, talking about the penalty kick. And for a penalty kick, as an assistant referee, you have a role.
Yeah.
And this is mainly about the positioning of the goalkeeper. You just explain that role that you've got to play anytime a penalty kick is being taken.
Yeah, for assistant is simply to check if the goalkeeper leaves the line before the ball is played. Yeah.
Just explain that.
Maybe I can even add, in relevance to the World Cup, because the game is played with VAR, there are two scenarios. A game without VAR, the assistant referee is her or his duty to confirm if the goalkeeper leaves. So in our league, because we don't have a VR, so you will have the assistant referees will come all the way to the edge of the penalty area. Okay, and he will check if the goalkeeper goes out before the ball is kicked. Now, but now in World Cup is different, is that we have VR. So that duty now will be resting on the VR. Okay, so the assistant referee now in the World Cup will be left on the touchline. He will not come near. Number two, the duty of checking if the goalkeeper goes out or not becomes now VR. Now, there are two things. The first thing is, let me just demonstrate. So assuming the one of the foot of the goalkeeper, any foot or heel, must be behind, on the line or behind. So is it on air? Is it on the ground? But be on the line. Okay, so assuming this is the line,
yes,
then it must be. So if the goalkeeper is just a millimeter away, then it's a problem. But even if it's on the air, then it's okay. So it's part of the body of the goalkeeper. So even if it's arm of the hand or something. Yes.
But but the law has changed. Going into 2022, 2023. The previous one is where both feet had to be on the line.
Yeah.
What's the change that and the effect of it eventually when it comes to penalty taking?
I would say that it's about giving advantage to the goalkeeper to have the opportunity also to save. Now, goalkeepers naturally, it is unnatural for you to jump with both legs.
Yes.
It is unnatural. So you will have to have at least on flight. If you want to jump, you have to be on flight. So you are given the leeway of having one of the foot to give you an advantage to, let's say I want to block on this side. So the goalkeeper will be given the chance, this foot to be away, okay, he can jump, but this other one, or the other way around, must be behind the line, either on or behind the line. Yes.
All right. Now let's move around the offenses, some of the offenses and unusual ones that lead to a penalty. Because people ask, sasa hiyo ni nini? Mary, you could start with some that you can pick up from your side as an assistant referee.
It's when maybe a player is trying to deceive the referee. The referee is behind, so I can't see. So there are players who strikers who tend to they want to control the ball. Yes, they would tend to control the ball using their hands because they know the referee is behind and maybe the referee cannot. So you flag.
The infamous theory on handball.
Yeah, so you raise for that and they're like, no, what happened? Because maybe even the defenders, they might have a feeling that there was a hand. But with my position, I can easily tell that the body, the hand left. Yes.
Yes. So somebody actually used, what is it called, unauthorized action to do that.
Actually, it's just simple, just like this, just to get control of the ball. Yeah.
All right. Another scenario where the referee is not at the same line, moving this way, but you notice something.
Maybe it could be off the ball incidents because the referee is on the ball, focusing on the ball. Then there could be an off the ball where a player maybe strikes or does something. So that I will definitely inform the referee. And it was inside the penalty area, it's a penalty.
By the way, for you to communicate that, besides just waving the flag, we see a lot of referees, you've got two-way communications.
Yeah.
How does that work? I mean, are you able to make a shout for a call, or is it a third party?
It makes our work very easy. Very, very easy, because with the communication, I can easily talk to the referee. And even before, I don't necessarily have to raise the flag.
Yes.
I'll just communicate, especially for the penalties. We are advised not to raise, but in our league we don't have VR, and maybe we don't even have the communications. So for instances we don't have those instances, we don't have the communication, then you have to
wave the flag.
If not, if you have the communication, then you communicate. You just talk to the referee. Everything, before every decision. Like for instance, the one with off the field, of the ball, I'll just talk to him. Striking.
The Zinedine Zidane
yes.
headbutt.
Yes, exactly. So I'll just communicate to him. And If we don't have the communication, we have the beep flags, where the referee has the whatever the beep here, and I'll just press before raising to alert him. So by the flag is going up. He already knows that there is a flag coming up. Yeah.
Now, others that you may pick up, offenses that people think are not part of football, but actually are offenses.
Majority of the others could be maybe holding. Usually in free kicks, in corners and such, you find players holding each other. Now, just as Mary explained that the referee is behind, so you may find an attacker, assuming Mary is an attacker and I'm a defender, I will hold her. Okay, I will hold her jersey, and it will reduce the speed she will be moving it. So holding is a very key offense. Sometimes we also have kicking each other. Okay, so with VR we have the advantage of being able to see those off the field incidents. So I would say holding is a key one. I would also say kicking each other is also part of the key. But now the normal ones now for tripping an opponent or stepping an opponent or striking an opponent are the other key ones that are well known.
Now, when it comes to communication, because a lot of hand gestures are used, which ones are allowed? Which ones are not allowed?
For the players or for the referees?
For the officials, match officials.
Now, as officials, one, at World Cup level, they have the communication gadgets. So, and you talk, the way you talk in a phone, okay?
Yes.
We just talk. We have done with many games, even international level. And you talk normally. So I will tell her, okay, for me, maybe she will tell me it's a foul. I will tell her, okay, for me it was not enough for player to go down and all that. So we communicate. So one of the things at this level as referees, you cannot use gestures which may be meaning something different. So we are allowed only to use gestures which are in the law. So if I indicate this way, I'm saying it's a foul.
Yes.
If I indicate this way, it's an offside. I'm not supposed to be seen just throwing my hands anyhow. Okay, so whenever a player sees me do this, they know automatically.
All right.
So if it's an indirect free kick and I don't do this, players know it's direct. So when I do this, it means indirect.
Okay. Yes. Now, take us through the gestures, so that, because you know people are watching the World Cup.
Yes.
So take us through this, the gestures of them, men in black.
Okay, so
from now, from when the match starts.
Yes.
And maybe within a minute there is a foul or an offside, and or maybe the ball goes out for a corner or a throw-in.
Now, the first thing when we have the players have lined up, you will see the players go and they leave us with the captains. So basically what the captains will do, they will come to me and will toss. So whoever wins the toss decides what to do. Now that's a change, because historically it was whenever you win the toss, then you take the side or you take the ball. But now, currently in the current law, once you win the toss, you decide what to do. You decide, I want to start attacking, okay, which side I want, or I take the ball.
Okay, that's more like cricket, where if you win the toss, you either choose to bat or bowl.
Yes, exactly. So now football has changed. For 2022-2023, that's a new change. So once you have won the toss, you tell us, okay, I will kick the ball. Okay, usually it's an advantage, especially for World Cup, you will find fans of a certain team sitting on one side. So it is very advantageous. So if my fans are sitting on this side, there is a possibility I would want to finish on that side, so that the pressure is on the goalkeeper who is defending. So I want you to imagine the Senegal versus Netherlands today.
Yes.
And assuming we have 50,000 fans of Senegal on this side, Senegal will be more interested having them finishing on this side in second half to put more pressure on the Netherlands.
Actually, in the first, even
yes,
in the first half.
Yes, they would want to have more pressure. So once that, then when you go to kick off, so usually the referee is supposed to be up after the center line on the other side. Then this means is we start play. So I will whistle, then I will show this. This is the same signal we use for all direct free kicks.
Okay.
So when I say this, when I do this, is a direct free kick. Now, in case there is a foul and it is an indirect free kick, indirect free kick is a foul that happens without contact. Okay. So maybe Mary wanted to head, then I drew my leg up. There is no contact, but because of the natural behavior, she will be scared. So I will give a foul, but there is no contact. If there is contact, it becomes a direct free kick. But without any contact, then it becomes indirect. So me as a referee, I will raise the hand thing. This one means you cannot score directly. If you try to score and it goes direct to the goal, it's not a goal, it becomes a goal kick. Now, if when you are trying to score, the goalkeeper maybe dives and touches, and it goes in, then it becomes a goal. So indirect means it must be touched by another player,
yes,
either defending or attacking. Then we have the offside. Offside is an indirect free kick, the offside itself. So once she gives me an offside, I will also raise my hand.
Okay, now that brings in something. Acha niulize swali hapa.
Yes.
I know you are a now, because now I can see the lecturer is coming up. Mary, now tell me, an offside is, because first of all, you may be on either side. This is an indirect free kick.
Yeah.
Which means, now mtu yule wa kupiga kabisa. So that means that if I take that free kick as an indirect one, would my teammate who is in an offside position, if he plays that ball, akona makosa?
Yes. He's in an offside position. He was in an offside position
then.
This is an indirect free kick. Okay. It's the indirect free kick, which is offside. And on the other end, my teammate is in an offside position. Yeah,
so
we.
Number two.
Yeah.
Being offside means you have to be, in the opponent's half, basically. So somebody decides to do something, what are they called? Some like a Wayne Rooney goal where you try and score directly. That becomes a goal kick.
Yes. Yes.
Mmefunzwa hapo. That becomes a goal kick.
Yes.
So if you're a footballer, and by the way, because I've attended one player education course with referees, and does this information go down to the players? Because I know Kenyan players. Na nikijaribu sasa.
Yes, I would say that for our Premier League, in fact, 1 week ago I was with two of the Premier League teams, teaching them the law. I think 1 week ago I was with KCB. Now the players, they know these things, so we teach them. So before the league starts, the players are taken through the rules. Even at AFCON level, we have our instructors. They go and have a whole 1-2 hour lecture reminding them of the laws, so the players know. I'm sure even a Kenyan, a normal person may be surprised to hear that if a goalkeeper takes a goal kick and he scores in his own goal, it becomes a corner, not a goal. If a direct free kick,
yes,
anywhere in the field, any direct free kick anywhere in the field, if you hit it to your goal, is a corner, not a goal. But when you are hitting it, if your opponent touches, then it becomes a goal. Or even your teammate touches, or even hit your teammate and goes in. It will become a goal.
A goal. But if it goes direct from boot to net, it's a corner.
Yes.
Those are little things that we always talk about, and everyone seems to be wondering, so what goes on? Now, something else that would like to talk, because it confuses people a lot, is the VAR protocol. Let me start with the one for assistant referees first.
People argue a lot because there are some instances, or most of the instances, you find that this player is obviously in an offside position, but the assistant referee still has their flag down. So you advised it's an obvious offside, but there is a scoring opportunity. Put your flag down, and of course there is communication to the referee and to the VAR. So the communication for that obvious offside is delay, delay, delay. We are all advised to delay the flag, and the referee delays the whistle, because I might flag instantly and the referee realizes, no, there is a scoring opportunity. So he delays the whistle to allow play, because once you cancel that goal and then VAR checks and finds that there was no offside, there is nothing they can do. So it remains cancelled. But you delay at the end, then once you say delay, they're expecting a flag. Then you must flag at the end. If it went in a corner or what, then you must flag. There are instances where we have tight, like yesterday's.
Yes.
That was extremely tight. So in that situation, as an assistant, please, even without VAR, this one without VAR, we advise not to raise. It's a tight situation, so keep your flag down. So in this instance, you communicate to them, tight, tight, tight. So with that, after that, they don't expect any flag. Once you communicate, you say it's a tight offside, there is no flag at the end. So it's them to check.
And that will become ideally in a goal scoring. When a goal has been scored.
Yes, where a goal has been scored, they have to check. Because the moment, once you communicate to them, so you've already alerted them that there could be. So they'll be checking. So by the time you get there, already they're checking. So here you find people are like, no, why does the assistant referee has to wait? It's because once a goal is cancelled, because you raise the flag, and the VAR checks, and they find that there was no offside, there is nothing they can do.
Now, you are a VAR.
Yes. So, okay, I even AFCON, I did a game as a VAR.
Okay, by the way, just to explain this.
Yes.
The video assistant referee is a person, not machines.
He's a referee, actually.
That is what people forget.
Yes.
But put that clear so that people understand what exactly video assistant referee is.
Maybe majority of Kenyans know me as a referee. But Kenyans also, okay, but I am also a VAR. So one, referee, a VAR is video assistant referee. So the boss in the field is the referee, the overall boss. He's the one in charge. He's the one who makes the first and the last decision. So the VAR is like now my assistants. If I am the referee, I will have an assistant, Mary, on the line, and there will be another one who with the blessings of cameras. So now VAR is a referee himself, not assistant. The VAR himself is a referee. Then we have assistant VAR. Assistant VAR is an assistant referee, but now in the video room. Okay, the video room we call the VOR, video operating room. Okay, so now what happens, allow me to explain the VR protocol. Now, the most interesting things for everyone in the whole World Cup will be 4 decisions.
Yes.
Goal or no goal. So, just as Mary brilliantly explained, once we have an opportunity to score, football is for goals. That's the beauty. You find the highest paid players are the scorers. You find somebody earning billions just because of scoring. So football is there to score. So the argument behind this is to encourage as much as possible more goals to be scored. So number 1 is goal or no goal. So once the goal is scored, the VR must check. He will have to go behind. The language you will find in the law of the book, the law of the game, we call it APP, attacking progress phase. So we will check, was there a foul by the person scoring or by the teammate when they are scoring? So we will check. If there is no foul, if there is no offside, then we agree is a goal. The second thing is what we call mistaken identity. And maybe Arsenal fans may remember this. There's a time an Arsenal defender was given the wrong card.
Yes.
The historical is known. So mistaken identity is me as a referee. I see Mary has done the mistake, but it's not Mary who did it, it's somebody else. So we have to correct that. The VR must check if it's Mary who is being given a yellow card or red card or whatever.
Or if you have twins on the pitch.
Yes. Then you have to check the number. You have to clearly say mistaken identity. The third one is penalty. It will be very interesting, assuming an attacker, he is a pretense or whatever, simulates in the penalty area, or is a clear penalty. Now, either referee gives or not, the VR must check. Okay, the VR must check. And then it becomes obvious. So one is goal or no goal. Number 2 now is the penalty or no penalty. Number 3 is mistaken identity. And the last one, straight red card. Now, this is the most confusing one. If I step on Mary here with excessive force, it's a straight red card.
Yes.
Now, people may need to know the VR will not check the second yellow. It is not the duty of the VR to check the second yellow card. No. The first yellow card, second yellow card, those are under the authority of the referee. The VR only checks the direct red card. So if it is a violent conduct, if it is serious foreplay, if the referee never saw, he will be called. You see them doing this. So it has happened to me. So you go to the referee review area. You go to the referee review area.
Yes.
Then you will check. You will see if it's direct red. But you need to know, they will not call me to go and review a yellow card offense. Even if it's a second yellow card, they will not call me because it is not in the protocol. So the protocol are on those four major issues.
All right. Now let me bring up a match and see how it would be dealt with. This was a crazy one. The UEFA Nations League final.
Yes.
think Portugal were playing that game, and there was a foul in the box when one side of the attack and the other one. Yes. There was an offense. But when the VAR was called, everyone thought it was for this other one, but it turned out to be for the other. How does that work?
I would say, now the work of the VAR is to check what is happening. So the worst part in refereeing life, this is very frustrating for a referee, is assuming a corner has been taken and there is a possible penalty. So the language we speak of in the VAR in the room, we say possible penalty, possible offside, possible. We don't say penalty, we say possible. So assuming the referee never saw, and the play started and it went to the other side, okay, and another penalty on the other side, and assuming that's a clear penalty. Now, unfortunately, if there was a penalty here, we'll have to come back here. So you check the first foul first. So if the penalty happened this side before the other one, we'll have to come back to this. Yes.
All right. Now, let's talk about development in the laws. And first, with the role of the assistant referee. Mary, with the role of the assistant referee, what has changed for the year 2022, 2023? Because the World Cup usually turns out to be the real testing phase for this.
Is there?
No.
No.
Maybe I would say there is no major change in the offside situation.
Yes.
For this World Cup. The only thing people will notice is whatever Mary explained, that assistants will not be flagging a lot. Yep. They will be waiting for the play to continue, then they come back. But there is no major law change which has happened for the offside.
Okay. Yeah. Now, something else that I'd almost forgotten. When there is this thing we love doing.
Yes.
When we are playing our Sunday football. When you're going to take a penalty, you first dance around the ball and kick it. There is something about that.
Yes.
About where you place your foot and the penalty kick. Just explain that.
Now, allow me to, assuming the ball is here, so you will allow me to use my pen to assume it's a ball. The player is allowed to do anything he wants before reaching the ball. So even if I want to turn, majority, you have seen I think he's called Jorginho of Chelsea.
Yes.
He is known of doing this. Okay? So
you start a run,
yes, you start a run, you can stop. You can do as many as you want. You can keep doing, you want to dance, you can dance, whatever you want. But once you reach the last step to kick the ball, then you must kick the ball. So if I reach the ball and I do this, it's a foul against me and a yellow card because of trying to deceive. So I have to, when I reach there, I must kick the ball. But I am allowed to come, I can do this, I can do that, whichever you want. And you find majority. Now, Jorginho, what he does, he comes and jumps, and the last one, he kicks.
Aha.
Yes.
All right. And when observing this, also, whenever you're doing these observations and checking them out, what are some of the things that you keep reviewing when you go back to your dressing rooms? Mary, I'll start with you.
For penalties?
I mean, for overall, as you review, say after a game, anything has happened, things that, eventually a report that must go to the match commission.
Yeah, normally, during halftime, we normally have that talk because there are incidents that maybe you did not expect, but it happened. So we normally raise those issues. Then maybe there are players who are against each other and stuff. So I'll just get there and tell the referee, hey, watch out player, so and so, he did this and this. Then
yes. No.
There are instances where you find there are instances where you find players, maybe he was fouled. And like he wants to revenge, so you can read, so that I might, if I'm near, I might just verbal warn him. But when I get back to the dressing room, I'll talk to my referee. Hey, watch player so and so. Just talk to him before because some of them are frustrated. So just talk to him, just control them, and there are some fouls that maybe we find that the players now are frustrated, they are just committing fouls, unnecessary fouls, and there are maybe a lot of illegal use of arms, that when we go to the dressing room, we tell the referee, hey, watch out, there is too much of this, so then you should know how to handle this. But then, of course, after the game, we analyze the game ourselves. Yeah, so what happened, what did not happen, you should have done this, this should have happened, this player should have gone out, or yeah.
Okay. Now, let me come to something else, the pre-match protocol. Because having the advantage of at times going to a stadium, what's a full inspection list that that every team must go through before they're allowed to get on the pitch?
I would want to answer that in reference to maybe World Cup, because it's the same protocol.
Yeah, so World Cup, AFCON,
yes. Now, it's a bit different between a league and the tournament. Now, I will start with a tournament like AFCON and World Cup. Now, the first thing, already the tournament organizers, they have the names of the players.
Yes.
So basically, we know who is playing. So we have a list, assuming, let's give an example of Senegal, maybe they have 30 players, okay? So this is the, or 20, or even whichever. 25. So assuming you have the 25 players, all of them are registered. Now, but being registered does not mean you're playing. So the first thing we do, which is 90 minutes before the game, the fourth official, the guy you see doing substitutions, he's the one who goes to the teams. He goes to the team rooms, and he has to check the player, the number, and see the player physically. So the player must show him the jersey. Okay, so you will have in the bench, so assuming Mary is a player, I will call number 1, goalkeeper. Okay, let's say Mary, then she will have to show me the jersey she will put on. Physically, I must, as a fourth of you, I must see the jersey. Then after checking all the players, then now we go now to the officials. You also need to check who are officials who will be seated on the bench. It's important for us to know who will be seated on the bench. Those are the key ones. Now, but now for the league, for the normal league, is the same scenario, but it happens earlier. Yes.
Okay. Now, equipment check. Especially things like shin guards.
Yes.
The boots,
yes,
and what the goalkeeper has.
Yes. Now, the goalkeeper, you will find some goalkeepers wearing maybe head mask, maybe unless they have an injury or such. It must be black. That's the first thing. That if a goalkeeper is putting on, allow me to call it a kofia. Okay, but for health issues,
the headgear or like
yes.
Peter check.
Yes, it has to be black. Now, if I put an undergarment. Okay, Qatar is going to be a bit hot, so maybe they will not have them. But in extreme conditions where it's very cold, they put undergarments. It must be on the same color with the sleeve. Okay, so assuming this sleeve is blue, then I have to put a blue one. I cannot have these and then I have a red one. It must be of that. Then undergarment, the inner one, also must be on the same color with the last part of the short. So it must be same color. And the most interesting one, all team players must have the same color. So if we decide to do blue, everyone must be blue. Yes. Then finally, the socks. The uniformity is from the head all the way to the socks. Players are allowed to put any boots they want.
Yes.
And usually the boots are for advertisement. So you'll find one Nike, another one Adidas, another one whichever type. But the uniform must all be the same. Now, but the shoe can be different. But now the most interesting is the last part of the shoe. So you find some players, especially in the leagues, though they have the socks up to here. Then whatever socks is there must be on the same with the rest of the uniform.
The stockings.
The stockings.
The stockings.
Yes, thank you. The correct one.
The correct one. Stockings.
Yes.
Okay. Now, Mary.
Yes.
Educating assistant referees. What's the process at the moment? You know, if you are to pick up somebody who wants to, keep running up and down the line.
It's more like the referee, because you must be fit.
All right. Okay, we'll be coming back to you, but at the moment, let's go over to one function that's going on. The acting CEO of Kentrade, David Ngarama, is giving an address, and this is on anti-counterfeit goods. And let us listen in.
Credit card, and the money goes to ACA directly, T+1. So once a payment is done today, that money comes to your account. I know my colleague from KBC is asking, how much do we charge the government agency? We do not charge. That service is free for government agencies. So all your money, you get it 100%. The only person who pays if you choose Cellulant is the customer. And the customer just pays a convenience fee of 100 shillings. So that goes to the service provider. You're now getting to a level where we're saying now you also need to share that revenue. Jumbo Pay is coming on board. Probably by the end of this month, we'll have Jumbo Pay on board. They'll be charging 50 shillings per transaction. Again, we are not charging the government agency. So we have all those payment options available on the single window system to make it easier for our customers to make payments for the services they're procuring through the system that we are running. So wishing ACA all the best. It's not an easy journey. I know as you think of the bottom up and talked about counterfeits, it's an intricate balance. You want to support the bottom up. You also want to ensure that you're guarding against counterfeits. Is an intricate balancing act, and a lot of education will be required so that we all understand and appreciate this concept. So all the best in this journey. We are with you. We'll be supporting you. We have deployed our staff to be supporting you in all these engagements, and all the best.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Garama. Thank you so much for that confidence, and for sure we are very, very happy as Anti-Counterfeit Authority to be working with Kentrade. And now, as I indicated, I want to invite Mr.
Talking about protecting goods, making sure that what you have is genuine, and speaking just before that was the acting CEO of Kentrade, Mr. David Garama. We get back to a conversation about the laws of the game, and we are with Assistant Referee Mary Njoroge and Referee Dr. Peter Overkamaku. So Mary, everyone has their story, and the education that one has to get about becoming an assistant referee. And something else, I think I was told by referee Kirwa.
Manager.
Yes, referee manager, is that if you decide to become an assistant referee today, you'll never get into the center. Yeah. Tell us about that, and at what point that changed.
Ever since I joined refereeing, I was interested on the line, running the line. So I did a few matches as a referee, but I was not comfortable there. I was more comfortable on the line. For an assistant referee, one thing, fitness is a must, no compromise. But with assistant, it's all about movement along the touchline, because there are movements and the flagging technique. I don't know whether I can show it there.
Yeah, you can use. You have the book there that is the laws of the game.
No, it's just the movements.
Okay.
To show the movements.
All right. There is a line here. So you can use this line. Yeah, you can demonstrate on this line.
Okay. Suppose this is the halfway line, and this is the corner flag. So here I'm supposed to face the field with my flag facing the referee or the field, because I can't be here and my flag is here. So the movement is sideways, depending on the play. If it's not fast play, you sidestep. There are instances you turn where there is maybe a counter attack with your flag on the field. Then it basically, then you sprint, you get here, you sidestepping a lot, not just sidestepping. Sidestepping, and now the flag, with the flagging, you have to use the same hand. If it's a foul for defender, we are always advised, use the same hand to raise, other than bringing it here, then changing it. So use the same. So it's all about movement, flagging technique, and of course with assistant you have to be on top-notch concentration. Yeah. And
when the decision was made that if you become an assistant referee, that's it for life. Like they say in India, if you become a lawyer, you choose either to go to court or become a company secretary. And you choose one path, that's it for life. How has that changed the scenario for a lot of people?
For me, I think it's much easier to focus and concentrate on that. Because if I'm on the line in this particular match, then on the other match I'll be on the line or the referee, then it makes it difficult to analyze yourself, because normally when you go to a game, after the match you analyze yourself, then you know what to improve on the next match. But now you find today you're on the line, tomorrow you are the referee, so it makes it difficult to concentrate or to focus on what you want to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Daktari,
Yes.
your story about refereeing.
I would say that the first thing is a referee. When I started as a referee, from the word go, I knew I want to be in charge. The difference between assistant and referee is in charge. So you must have a character of somebody who wants to run the show. Okay? So every game coming up,
Hiyo tumeiona leo.
any game that is coming up, you want to be the one in charge. So a referee basically, allow me not to call it a dictator, but I will say the person who wants to show how things are supposed to be done. So from the word go, I was never comfortable with being assistant. So I wanted to run the show. So the referee does the same thing. So the key thing about referee, number one, is fitness. You run more than players. Players do 8 kilometers, 9 kilometers. In AFCON game, there's one I did 16 kilometers. Yes, because of it was a quarter final. I have to do 90 minutes, then extra 30 minutes. And players will be substituted when they are tired, but referee are not substituted. So one number is fitness. That's why you have to keep the shape. Number two, you need to understand fouls. You need to know what is a foul, what is not a foul. Because football is a game of contact.
Yes.
Okay? Game of contact means that people will hit each other, they will collide. Sometimes the player will be sliding to kick the ball, and he slides fairly, kicks the ball, and then the attacker maybe steps on him. So you need to understand fouls. So maybe I would say the key things, number three, two most important. Number one is fitness. Number two, understanding the laws of the game. What is a foul, what is not. Now, an extra one, it is extremely different refereeing a game with VR and without. Totally different. Because the problem with a game with VR, you know in case you are wrong, you'll be corrected. And it's beautiful. So you can comfortably do the game, and you know there is somebody with a parachuter who will rescue you in case you have made a mistake. So there is a lot of concentration. You must multitask. I'm doing the game, I'm talking to players, the VR is talking to me, assistant is talking to me. In a game, I may be forced to listen to 4 people at a go. VR is telling me this, assistant referee is telling me this, players are now shouting to me, a defender or attacker. So let me say also the referee must also be able to learn how to multitask at a different level. Yes.
The other thing is how it's an offense and people don't take this. Players have this thing after getting fouled. You know, they just point at you and they want the card.
Yes.
What's the appropriate response to that?
Now, we always say referee must manage your game with your character. Okay, how you respond to players. Now, if I am emotional as a referee and players are doing that, I will end up giving them yellow cards. And I will be within the law. Okay? Because players is an sporting behavior. But at high level, you are taught to manage the game. So right now, you may not see a lot of players doing this. Okay? But in Russia, you saw a lot.
Yes.
Because the VR had just come up. So once the player maybe dives or looking for a penalty, you used to see them asking for VR. Or cards. Now, the referee, you must manage these players. So the easiest is just to go to the player, okay, and discuss with him. Have a candid discussion. Okay, what do you think? Oh, okay, no, I'll look at it. And then that ends.
All right.
Yes.
Mary, let me tell you, to the people watching, in this World Cup, what are the key things they'll need to look out for when, trying to interpret the game? And this is from an assistant referee's perspective.
It's the offside. For me, it's the offside. And since there is VAR, so there'll be a lot of delaying the flag. That will be there. So people get agitated. This is an obvious one, and people start complaining. It's the protocol, and we have to follow the protocol. So a lot of delay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, from the VAR perspective, I know football has always been a game that flows. It is not start-stop like volleyball or tennis or cricket or even basketball. What is it that people should look out for, especially from the VAR end? Because I know that's going to come up a lot.
It happened in Russia. There were more penalties. there may be more penalties using VR than without VR. So people must be ready to have more penalties than in a normal game, because maybe referee missed or he did not miss. Number two, it will be very interesting, like you saw yesterday, Ecuador as scored, they celebrated, they were happy, hugged each other, and all of a sudden it's offside. So the beautiful emotions, so VR is creating a different emotion. And this one will be very interesting, where you score, you celebrate, and the goal is cancelled. Then you go, okay. Now, there will be also situations, and this one I'm sure, especially the big games. I score, I celebrate, I score, and the assistant referee, Mary, raises the flag.
Yes.
And I say it's offside. So we stop celebrations, and then we sit down. Then the VR checks and find there is no offside. Then now we go and celebrate again. So VR is bringing a very different emotion. For a good number of people think that it is taking away the beauty of football. But for me, I look at it, VR is bringing a different kind of emotion. You can imagine it was not a goal. Assistant raised, okay, then we go back, you start talking, then all of a sudden, the VR says the goal. Then now you go and celebrate.
So there you are, you run and poof.
Yes, good. And different. Then the players who are in the center, now we run all the way to the other side and go and celebrate. And very different emotion.
All right, we'll be keeping observation of that. Thank you very much, Dr. Peter Owero Kamaku. Yeah, mathematician, by the way. My sabu anajua kuchapa proper. He's a university don. And also, he is a video assistant referee, the only one in Kenya qualified to do that. And he's an elite referee recognized by FIFA, and also elite assistant referee, Mary Njoroge. Asanteni sana. Thank you for the conversation. You're always welcome. I'm sure if we call you so that at least we can do what happened here, sure you'll be able to assist as much as you can.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. And we take a short break, and when we come back, we'll be talking a lot of numbers from last night's match between Ecuador and Qatar, because there's a new phenomenon, something known as line breaks, and trying to break the opponent's defensive line. But also, the sport belongs to the fan. And today we've got a fan in studio, and he said, Asante KBC kwa kuleta World Cup. He's brought us something. Wana Kabere is coming up next, and John Agriotieno.
November like never before. Mouth-watering programs. Maza takes a break, and in comes football extravaganza. And a bouquet of the best of movies from the Orient lined up for you. Oh yes, November 2022 is like never before. Only on KBC Channel 1.
Take on Tech, a weekly program that brings you technological debates and concepts. Let us assume we have a young innovator who has come up with an app.
Financial technology and financial services is a very complex game.
Keeping you up to date with the latest tech news both locally and internationally. Apple has lost its position as the most valuable firm amid tech sell-off. We also explore different innovations by our very own young innovators. Make sure you don't miss. Tune in every Monday at 10:30 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1.
World Cup iko KBC na tonight tuko Grapevine, baby.
Absolutely, and I am more than excited, mainly because of the African teams that will be representing us in the World Cup.
The Mambo Leo Grounds, Kisumu played host to the 4th edition of the Unleash Your Age Fiesta, Kisumu County.
Red Calligraph show. Man, I've danced. Plus Grouchy and everyone else.
My favorite is Wakadinali, of course.
I love hip hop, OG anything. Yeah.
Intense auditions and breathtaking performances in the Tusker Nexus competition. Finally, a winner for the top prize has been unveiled. Rapper Shama aka TK Lion was crowned the winner.
And welcome back to Sports Check on this Monday morning. It is the 21st day of November, the second day of the FIFA World Cup, Qatar 2022. Sports Check, it's all about this tournament. And remember, you can get to watch Senegal versus the Netherlands with pre-match analysis coming in from around 6:15 p.m. Kickoff is 7 p.m. with all match protocols starting in just 10 minutes before that. Remember, it's live on Signet, KBC Channel 1, and all our radio stations are broadcasting that. You can imagine, you have a choice of over 10 languages to listen to the World Cup in. So make use advantage of that. The hashtag is World Cup Iko KBC. And also at 2 p.m., Dunda Dunda Qatar. Look out for that moment when we're going to have, a lot of football extravaganza. It's going to be happening right here. And it's also a fun opportunity. Remember, Dunda Dunda Qatar this afternoon, still having conversations around that. But when you talk about World Cup Iko KBC, we say, and all people say, it's the beautiful game. In Portuguese, they say, Jogo Bonito. It's a beautiful game. And it's for the fan. And when you have a fan, you always appreciate them. And there are people who will always say, Asante kwa kutuletea hii. And in studio, we have got Victor Kaberia, huge football fan. And what he has done and this is right here, is that he has brought us something. It's all about saying asante KBC for what they have done. Victor, asante sana for this. The logo, you know, you've got the Qatar, the FIFA World Cup, Qatar 2022. I know this is something that, you know, everyone's got to appreciate. I mean, we'll say thank you very much for that. First of all, your story, because this is a work of art done by you. Yes. Tell us, you know, your story as an artist.
Thank you for having me. My name is, as you've said, is Victor Kaberia. I'm an artist. I do paintings, and I also, on top of doing paintings, I do another kind of art that we call string art, like the piece you've just shown our viewers. I began the journey in the year 2018. That is when I began painting and selling my pieces. In the year 2020, I met a friend of mine called Jeff. He showed me a different kind of art, like this piece here, string art. You use strings and nails to create images. Could be an image of a person, could be an image of could be a logo, could be an image of anything, even a person. We even get requests to do people using strings, and it comes out very nicely.
So the whole idea now here, so what would I call it? It's more like embroidery, but on boards.
Yeah. Yes, because you use strings and you use nails. Like this particular piece, to complete it, I've used around 3,000 nails. 3,000 nails. And
what's the size of the nails ideally, if you were to?
The nails that I've used here is the shoe tags, but now the size is 3/4 of an inch. 3/4 of an inch.
Yes.
Then the length of the thread I've used here, or the string, is a special kind of string. It's called twine. So I've used like 4 kilometers of twine. 4 kilometers of twine.
You know, that's from here to somewhere past Westlands. 4 kilometers.
4 kilometers in bits, because you have to. There are small distances, but for it to bring out that color, you have to do so many times. In a small piece, maybe 2 inches square, you have to do so many movements of the string for it to bring out that color. So these are just locally sourced. There are some places I buy. Then the board is a special kind of board, and the cover, I cover the board with a certain material, is just the synthetic leather or resin. Yes.
Now here comes the tricky part.
Yes.
Speaking about 3,000 nails.
Yes.
And putting them up there.
Yes.
You know, what's the kind of distance in between the nails such that you end up with them? Because I know that is the crazy part.
Yes. The crazy part, Bwana Home, is not even, we start first by designing it. I use my PC to design it. After the design is done, I print it, I place it there, then I start the hard work of now using the nail and the hammer and the nails. It may take a whole day to do something like this, from morning to evening, just doing the nails. Yes.
Then that's where you come up with the string art.
Yes.
Okay. Now, nini likuvutia such that you said, well, let KBC have this?
There is the excitement of the razzmatazz around the World Cup, and me being a football fan, I'm a Chelsea fan in the EPL, and being a fan of football, I was very excited that KBC is airing these games live, and I wanted to portray an image of, to appreciate that work. That is when I began. That is when I conceptualized the idea and did it.
Okay. Yes. Now, also something I would like to ask you.
Yes.
Tonight, Senegal versus the Netherlands. on KBC Channel 1.
Yes.
So tell us about that game.
I'm Team Africa. I support all the teams that are from Africa. I got my armband. The armband, this is the flag of, it looks like Ghana, but the colors represent Senegal. Yes.
Yeah, that's the flag of Senegal.
Yes. So
only the star is missing.
Yes. So I'm voting for Senegal, and I'm praying and hoping that we have the first African team to advance to the semi-finals. We've not had that in the previous editions, but I hope this edition will have an African team, and I hope it would be Senegal, probably Cameroon.
Okay. Holland, how do you rate them? Because I'll mention this, they were in one of the toughest qualification groups. Think of Belgium, think of Wales, think of Poland.
Yes. They are really tough opponent. In fact, maybe the toughest in that group. But everything is possible. Anything is possible. I believe we are equal to the task. As Senegal, we can upset them. Yes, and that is my prayer.
So, even with Sadio Mane out, the orange team should look out for the Lions of Teranga.
Lions of Teranga are equal to the task, with or without Sadio Mane. I think the likes of Diallo will come up and rise to the occasion.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Victor Kaberia. And we say asante sana for this piece of artwork. And to describe it, it's nail and string art, 3,000 shoe tacks. Unajua ile msumari ya kiatu? 3,000 of them on that board, and 4 kilometers of thread to come up with this kind of artwork. Tunasema asante sana. I'm sure you can have all the rounds you want today at KBC. Utasalimia kila mtu, upigwe picha na kila mtu.
Nashukuru sana. I would like now maybe to tell my viewers where they can get my art. We've set up a website where somebody can go, even make an order. It's www.atzetu.com. www.atzetu.com. You can log in there, make a request, or order our pieces. We have many pieces. It's an association of artists. We are trying to bring together artists who do different kinds of art to sell their art on one single platform. Yes.
Aha. Very good. Acting as a collective. Watu washikane, twende mbele. Thank you very much. By the way, you know, we have a station that is known as Mwago FM. Unaijua? Uende usikilize leo. Mpira kam, ukitazama channel 1 kwa Signet, pia usikilize Mwago,
All right.
Safi. So that's how we do it. So we take a short break now, and when we get back, let's crunch the numbers and talk a little bit more football with John Agre Otieno.
World Cup iko KBC na tonight tuko Grapevine, baby.
Absolutely, and I am more than excited, mainly because of the African teams that will be representing us in the World Cup.
The Mambo Leo Grounds, Kisumu played host to the 4th edition of the Unleash Your Age Fiesta, Kisumu County.
Red Calligraph show. Man, I've danced. Plus Grouchy and everyone else.
My favorite is Wakadinali, of course.
I love hip hop, OG anything. Yeah.
Intense auditions and breathtaking performances in the Tusker Nexus competition. Finally, a winner for the top prize has been unveiled. Rapper Shama, aka TK Lion, was crowned the winner.
And welcome back to Sports Check on this Monday morning, and it is the 21st day of November 2021. It's the second day of action in Qatar, and this is at the FIFA World Cup. It is the 22nd edition of the FIFA World Cup, and we already have one result where Qatar, lost to Ecuador by 2-0. We'll be going through some of the stories, that came up from that game, especially the numbers, because one of the things that FIFA has done is put out some very heavy data work into this tournament. And that group of people, at the end of the day, the analytics that are going to be done by the technical study group, those will be done basically by the football boss at FIFA, Arsene Wenger. Now, let's talk about that and the 3 matches that are going to be played today. John Agriotieno, he is a football data analyst. And John, last night, first of all, your overall take on the game, and especially from the perception point. Qatar are not just that easy side. They're formidable. They've been Asian champions.
Yeah, they have been.
But Ecuador came in
they have
and pulled off something.
Champions in 2019. They have had, I think, around 11 friendlies before this. In fact, for the last 6 months, Qatar have actually suspended their league so they're able to prepare for this tournament. I would say the first half must have been underwhelming for all the preparations that has gone into it and all the money that has been thrown into it. And I'll take you back many years ago, the issue of the Aspire Academy, where I think 3/4 of those players who played yesterday did come from. But in the second half, they got into the game. 0 chances created, 0 shots on target, which I think is a first for a team, and the lowest since 1966, when there was 11 chances created in the opening game. But that said, I think the second half is where they grew into the game. They probably have to start looking for ways to get goals. But as it was yesterday, Ecuador had an easy way in the second half, just relaxed, didn't have to create too many chances because they did all the job in the first half.
And one of the things that struck me when it comes down to the numbers is there's something known as attempted line breaks.
Yes.
This is where you try to breach the
defensive lines.
The defensive lines of your opponents.
Yes.
Ecuador did that 291 times.
Absolutely. And you see...
because that's a shocking start.
It's a shocking start based that a game is over 90 minutes. It's also even further shocking because what Qatar was playing was a 5-3-2. The last time a team played a 5-3-2 at the World Cup was when Germany beat Saudi Arabia. Was it 8-0?
Yes.
Yes. So, I mean, for all that they put...
Hey, that's ages ago.
Yeah, it's ages ago. 2002, right. So, I mean, for all that defensive mindset going into it and to be breached so many times, number one, kudos to them for only conceding 2, because I think Enner Valencia should have had a hat-trick in the first half. But it also just shows you how much data and analytics is going into this World Cup. FIFA is saying at every stadium, there's around 28 cameras watching the players and the ball. The ball has a special chip that is able to relay information to all these cameras, and that is why even the VR decisions are faster now. So, I mean, just based on that, you understand the magnitude of just data and analytics that is going into this game. And if this one shocked you, I think teams like Netherlands that hold the ball for even far much longer will be having crazy numbers.
Well, now, here's something else that I would like to talk about when it comes to how this is happening. 7 offsides and Ecuador with a 4. And the kind of play that, trying to break that.
You know what? The coach of Qatar, who was a good student of the La Masia system, drilled this team properly. Away from them conceding the 2 goals and not creating too many chances, I don't think they were really bad. That second half in itself, I would say, is a different game as compared to the first half. And so just based on that, they would get a lot of strength and credit going forward. And in the hope that the next 2 games, which are not easy ones, I think Senegal and Netherlands, they would get a result. But that said, it doesn't go down well to be the first host team to have actually lost an opening game. No other team has ever done that.
Well, and you can imagine that this is for about what exactly would I say? I would call it 90 years of the FIFA World Cup.
Yeah, and even actually more because because these numbers have been chunked from the start of when footage was first taken for the FIFA World Cup all the way to the last World Cup in 2018. So it just shows you how much, I would say, the 6 months that Qatar have put into practice, all those years, that first half, they did not play to the occasion. Actually, they were scared of the occasion.
Well, talking about this, there is something that you would have to feel that's going to come up here, especially with teams that are full of these elite players.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone who's at the World Cup consider themselves an elite player.
Yeah.
But then kind of, passes that are being made. I'm just picking up the stats from last night's game.
Yeah.
930 passes in the game.
Yeah.
480 of them by Ecuador. Completed passes, 790. 409 by Ecuador. That means of the passes that they made, it's just about what, 1/7 of them. Only 1 out of 7 passes
were wrong.
Did not.
The central defender must have been a 20-year-old who plays at Bayern Leverkusen. He actually attempted 27 passes, 26 actually got to the recipient. And the one that did not get to the recipient was actually, it went off. It went off the pitch. So that just shows you how much, not just them looking at the numbers coming to the tournament, but even during the tournament, trying to just explore and be better. Again, remember, Ecuador is the youngest team of the South American teams that have come to the tournament, and actually the youngest ever team from South America to have come to this tournament. They have played around 15 games, won around 11 of those coming to the tournament, and they say that the backbone of how they play is the players at the back being able to complete their passes. You could see what happened at the front. Of course, Ena Valencia has all the experience. He's the only player in that team to have ever played a World Cup. The rest, everyone else is new.
Wow. Yeah. Well, quite interesting. And we're talking about young squads. We'll be talking about 2 of the youngest squads at the World Cup, and they will be playing at 10 p.m. But overall, taking a look at this group, let's first touch on the encounter between Senegal and the Netherlands. 7 p.m., KBC Channel 1. Look out for it on Signet. So let's first of all talk about, the Sadio Mane factor, the fact that he had to go for surgery.
Well, I think Senegal really tried to push their luck and hoped that he would come back on time. I remember he had to go to Austria, I think, for a small surgery, they say, and had to include him in the team with the hope that probably he would miss the first 2 games and would be available for the last game. Unfortunately, the first games against the Netherlands, even more unfortunate is that Sadio Mane is not going to be there. While he's drafted into the team, and you will probably see him in the bench at some point, the truth of the matter is now other players now have to step up. Now, while their play is always based around him, and it has gotten them reasonable success, they're actually the reason Egypt is not at this tournament. They now have to think otherwise.
Now, let's just give us your thoughts about on the squad that Aliou Cisse has taken and what to look out for. And, some of the players who will stand out for them.
I would say the goalkeeper. Remember, this team has not conceded above 3 goals in the last 3 years. The highest that they've ever conceded is 2 goals. And it's because of that goalkeeper at the back. He's Chelsea's #1. I think he's Africa's best by a mile. And this is a good place for him to show the world how great he is. There is Ismaili at the front. Now, because Mane is not there, he probably have to run more towards the right and try and support his team. So I think for me, those are the 2 main players that I'm looking forward to see how they play at this World Cup, because Senegal really rely on them.
Well, it was a tough qualification process. And for Senegal, it was it's something that they had to prove that their AFCON win against Egypt was not a fluke. Overall, from their qualification process, what stands out for them, their strengths and that?
I think their strength is the defensive work. They do not concede too many goals. And sometimes they do not, I would say, get a lot of possession in their games, but when they get that shot on target, when they get that chance to bury the game, they do. They have built their play around Mane, and you can see among the players who played for Senegal, in the qualifiers, he was their top scorer. Now, they have to look for the goals from elsewhere, which actually they can get. But the fact that he is missing and is a big part of this team now has to, make the whole team work around and work harder even to get those wins. Netherlands is a tough side. They have played 15 games, won 11 of those, drawn 4, lost none. It just shows you how good they are. But again, African champions.
Okay, now let's talk about the Netherlands.
Yeah.
And man, this country keeps churning out stars. I mean, and also, they are yet to break that dark. They've been to 3 World Cup finals, 74, 78, and 2010. Never lifted the trophy. Lost in the semis against Argentina on penalties in 2018. Sorry, 2014. Because they missed out on 2018. What's the thing that makes this nation click football-wise?
You know, they have, I would say, proper footballing academies. You look at most of these Dutch players who play probably in the English Premier League, I mean in Belgium, they have a route from home. They have played in the youth setups at home, but they also have an amazing group of coaches. It's like they keep on churning them. I know Louis van Gaal is coming for his 2nd time, but Louis van Gaal says that the man he watched coach was, I think he's called Rinus Michaels, must have been coached in 1978 when they lost. He says that pain is what he's looking to carry forward and try and get a result. The 2014 result says hurt him so much. Now, 2018 he wasn't there, but now he's back for 2022. Probably his last one, I would say. Remember, he's suffering from cancer and has even been seen in some games on a wheelchair. But he says he wants to leave this one, on a high, because actually the Netherlands have a coach on the sidelines. After this, Louis van Gaal leaves. Who joins us after? I think the former Barcelona coach comes in after.
Talk about what's his name? Frank Rijkaard. Frank Rijkaard. Now let's talk about the players, because so much talent, but only 11 slots on the starting lineup. Start at the back. I mean, let's start with the keeper. Who would they be picking here?
Is it the Barcelona keeper that I think would be there? Because I think he's played so many games for them over the qualifiers. I would say 11 wins. 4 draws again. I mean, there's no reason to drop him. But then I'm looking forward. You have Memphis, might not be playing. They're saying he has an injury. But then there is Bagwai. It's called Bagwai.
Yeah, Bagwai.
Who was formerly at Tottenham. He went back home. He scored 13 goals in 14 appearances for his club. He's laid claim to starting, and I think he has to start today.
All right. At the back, Virgil van Dijk. How key will this man be?
Has to be. He is going to be really key. He's the captain of the team as well. He plays for Liverpool, has won the Champions League. I think the best defensive talent they've had for the longest time, probably since Van Basten, I think. So he has to step up for his country today. He also says it might be his last World Cup, so he goes all out as well.
Okay, at right wing back, Denzel Dumfries.
Well, a good player. Very exciting. I think I love that he's one of those players who they say is ambidextrous. Can use his right and left foot. And again, a lot of clean sheets for him in the national team, and he has to step up today as well.
So, continuing with this, with the Dutch side, and the kind of players who we've got to, they have got on their side. Kevin Brothers. I mean, there's the attacking front. Who would they be picking up? Because the choices they always say, they're spoiled for choice at that level.
If Memphis is fit, he has to play. I think also since he went back home, he's played really well. Like I said, Bagwajan has to play. He's on form, and the coach says the first man on his team sheet is the man who's always on form. So I think 4-4-2 for them, and those two have to be at the front.
All right, Frankie de Jong. The engine man, right in the midfield, because it stand out. The interesting thing I noticed, midfielders, if you look at the definition now, it has to be that man who's playing that holding role.
I think he's had, I would not say a lot of success at Barcelona. It's been a little bit mixed, I would say. And for the Dutch team, who have had a plethora of just good midfielders over the years, surely he doesn't rank amongst the best. But then, all those that are the best had opportunities like he had at the World Cup. And so this is his opportunity. I hope he does find Bagwajan with most of his passes, because I think that boy is very lethal. That said, I hope his best turns out today, because sometimes even for Barcelona, it's always the worst of him that does turn up.
Well, now you keep talking about the qualification that came up, but it's not as easy as people would think.
Yes,
for the Dutch side, their opponents, Belgium, Poland, Wales, and all are at the World Cup.
And actually, they got 16 out of 18 points of those teams. They beat Belgium, who are world number 2, home and away. It just shows you how good they are. I think I have a problem with Belgium every time they come to this tournament. It's such a good record that they carry to the tournament, and then when the tournament comes, they fizzle out at the end. Netherlands have never had such a problem. If they start strong, you expect a really strong finish. And Van Gaal says this squad he has is actually a better squad than the 2014 one. To imagine those people like Van Persie in that squad, and he says this is even better. I really can't wait to see what he does.
Well, so, look out for that match, 7 p.m. analysis at 6:15 p.m. on Signet. Yes, remember that's right. You get the free-to-air matches on KBC Channel 1. Now, the early kickoff match, interesting one. England playing against Iran. Iran, here's the thing, ranked 19th in the world.
Yes.
And people, they will keep talking about the politics of the country, but forget the football pedigree of the country.
Iran, 3rd World Cup. Remember, 1998, Iran shocks USA when this whole politics thing is happening. They say they're not scared of the politics. In fact, they love it. So if there's anything to go by that result, and today, remember, the coach of Iran was also in that team then, and now is he? I mean, the coach of Iran has formerly been coach of South Africa. He has been coach of actually Iran as well. He's been coach
Carlos Queiroz.
Yes, assistant coach of Manchester United. He's gone to Portugal as well. He says he loves these competitions. It's crazy that for over 200 games that he's been manager, he's never come against England. And so this is a great opportunity for him.
Okay, so let's talk about the Iranian side and in their qualification process. And because Asia's qualification is one of the most difficult.
Yeah.
Let's start from there.
I think for Iran, it's about the quality of teams that are around them when they qualify. It's not a really easy way to come, but the consistency that they've had, 3 World Cups, not many teams from that area are able to say that they have been able to have that. And again, the fact that this manager comes after they had qualified. Remember, he was not there during the qualification. There was a different manager. He comes after they have qualified, but he's riding on the fact that he's been coach of theirs in the past. Remember, he got to the Asian qualifiers, the Asian Cup. He did not concede a goal until when they met Japan in the semi-finals. So that's just how good he is. He's not a man that is coming to try things out, but he's been able to do this with this team in the past.
Now, this is very... So looking at the prospects against the English side, where do you see Carlos Queiroz now trying to figure out this?
Well, Carlos Queiroz has actually surprised a lot of teams in the past, and I won't be shocked if he does surprise England. I know the margin, or the margin of expectation is really low, but England, remember, they also have their injury problems. And for example, in left back, if there's an injury now, then it's a whole lot of crisis, And in midfield, Maddison might not even play today. So they actually have a chance based on factors like injuries, in England. Remember, the English players, all of them have been playing in the league, and the Iran players, some of them have actually not been playing for a while. So they've had a good rest. But for all that it matters, I think England surely should win this one. Not easy, but even a 2-0 will be good.
Now, England, winners of the trophy in 1966. And what's the biggest problem with the biggest headache that Gareth Southgate has is these injuries and managing that.
Yeah, injuries, managing that, and picking always his best team. Remember, at the back, he has a problem with Maguire, who is not playing club football, but performs really well for England. And there is talk that people like Ben White, who are actually playing every single day, should play. But he's the captain of, he is the assistant captain of the team. Of course, Harry Kane is the captain. You always have to pick in tournaments the best players, players on form. he says this is going to be, or rather, it said this is going to be his final World Cup, or rather his final tournament with England. England probably have to look further. But can you imagine if he wins it, then surely you just have to renew his contract. But that said, those injuries might actually hurt him. But he's got, I mean, second-string players. Can you imagine Saka as a second-string player in the English team? Phil Foden scores hat-tricks for fun and has to start today.
The tactics that are there.
Yeah.
3-5-2. And the influence of this for non-English coaches in the EPL.
In the EPL, yeah. I know it's, I think, Jose who first came with it, or rather among the first group of players, I mean, our first group of coaches who came with the 3-5-2. You know, the 3-5-2 is built on the reliance that the wingers can actually act as defenders when you're defending, and then release pressure from the central midfielders. England as it is, there's a lot of influence from outside in terms of coaching, and there's been the 3-5-2 played a lot. But the old English way of playing, and which Gareth Southgate loves, is the 4-4-2. It gives you the ability to play with your two strikers at a time, but even the two, you can convert them to be 3-5-1-1, which also can be played in a 4-4-2, which can be converted to a 4-4-1-1. So, I mean, he's got options. He can play 3-5-2, but I don't think he has played it in a while. So I would say 4-4-2, the old way to go. If it's really tough, 4-4-1-1 with the one and the two midfielders right behind the one, helping create the chances. And again, they also have some really fast players. Phil Foden, Saka, Jude Bellingham as well, really fast. They can create those chances. So I would say for them, 4-4-2, that influence is there. But again, old habits die hard.
And this is where I want to come in now, that you've mentioned Jude Bellingham.
Yeah.
There's 20 years ago, having somebody like Mark Manaman in the English squad was an oddity because he was the odd player.
Yeah.
I mean, the odd guy not playing in the English football. 2006, Owen Hargreaves was the odd guy.
Yeah.
But here you have
Jude Bellingham.
Now, it's starting to become almost normal for English players not to be based in England, but getting call-ups. Start with Bellingham at 19.
Yeah.
Sorry, at
20 now.
At 20 now.
Yeah. You see, for Jude, I think his talent is, I mean, you can't hide it. He's so good at Borussia Dortmund. All these English teams want to sign him up. And so, again, in Dortmund and in Europe, he's scoring the goals. He's actually even better than some of the players who play in the English Premier League just based on raw numbers. And so the coach has no option but to call him. And again, every time he's called up, he does deliver. The only problem we had then was most of these players who played probably in Spain and in Germany, when they were called up for the national team, they failed to deliver. And then they became, you know, a scapegoat, or rather, I mean, for excuses, I mean, by the coach. But as it is now, there's actually even more English players trying to move abroad in search of opportunities where they're not able to get opportunities at home. Remember, the English Premier League attracts the best of the talent. Sometimes when you're not good enough, you've got to find it elsewhere. Yeah.
Now, England, a little story that people, just to put it into context, you know, going into 2018, they were world champions under 17, under 20, and by making it to the semis, they were going to hold the 3 World Cups in the men's competition. But there's something I'm saying with this squad. Young players, Bukayo Saka at 20, you got Phil Foden at 22, Declan Rice 23. What's the story that's behind this?
I actually think it's the influence of the English Premier League. You have to be really good to make it into the team. Look at Phil Foden, for example. The Man City team is littered with talent. You have to be really special to get into that team. And the presence of other players who are really good either forces you to be better or chases you out. And for him, the reverse is true, that it's forced him to be better. Now he has to lay a claim to the English shirt. Bukayo Saka at Arsenal, there was an injury that happened during COVID-19, and then he got his chance and he's just lay a claim to it. I think he has guts. Remember the penalty he missed and still goes on to take another penalty for England and for Arsenal. It just shows you the mentality of these players. And again, the coach is trying to drive away that old mentality of players who probably do not shine for their club, but because they're big names, they have to start for the national teams. This is a whole different English generation. They have played at the under-17, at the under-19. They understand the pressures of the World Cup. Even at that level, remember, the players that they faced at those levels are the same players now they're facing at the senior level.
Well, England will be playing against Iran, 4 p.m. That's going to be the first game that's going to be played today in Qatar. The second one, remember, is on KBC Channel 1. That's the one involving the Netherlands and Senegal. The final match today, the two youngest squads at the World Cup, Wales and against the US. And for Wales, first of all, I mean, getting back to the World Cup after what, 64 years?
Something years, yeah. I mean, Wales have had a problem because the type of competition they have around them is always the Englands, sometimes the Belgiums, and it's really hard to get out of that. That positivity that they got at the Euros, and then they had to play, is it Ukraine? In the final qualifying game, which I thought had a lot of political talk behind it. When they got that 1-0 win over them, I think it just shows you a different Wales side. And again, there's the driving force of Gareth Bale, who had to leave Real Madrid, go to the MLS to get playtime, and now has laid claim to a Welsh jersey. There's a whole generation of Welsh players who are not just playing the English Premier League, they're playing the Scottish League. Their league might not be the greatest, but they've been able to send a team at least to the English Premier League over the last, I think, 4 or 5 seasons. Yeah. So that just shows you the improvement they are having and the influence of the players who leave Wales to go and play outside the Welsh borders.
So much focus on Gareth Bale, but let me bring out the Leeds winger, Daniel James. Remember, he opted not to play for Man United.
Yes. You know, I mean, for James, actually he opted not to play for England.
For England.
Yes. So James
and Man United.
Yes, and Man United the club. He had to get playtime. At Manchester United, he was not getting playtime. He had to leave, go to Leeds. I think then the coach of Leeds was it?
El Loco,
yeah. So El Loco gave him a chance, and El Loco, as you know him, gives every player a chance to express themselves. He took that opportunity, ran away with it. Today, he's not just one of the best players at Leeds. I think he's one of the best Welsh players, and his speed will be absolutely terrific when they meet teams like England. Yeah.
A name that may have been forgotten from the Wales outfit, Aaron Ramsey.
Yeah. I know, away from the disaster he had with his broken foot, has a great season at Arsenal, leaves, goes to Juventus, and everything goes down. Now he has to try and rebuild. I would say towards the latter years of his age. But again, for all that he's done for Welsh football, you can't leave him. Anytime he's called up for Wales, maybe say for the last 1 year or so, he's actually stepped up for them. And when they got to the latter stages of the Euros again, he stepped up. He had to be called, I think, just based on that. His current form is not the greatest, but sometimes when players put on the jerseys of their national teams, then, you know, just, I would say a dragon just pops up out of them and they deliver.
Their strength, given, you know, we've seen Wales, you know, show up at high competition levels and deliver.
Yeah.
What's their key strength?
I think their key strength is the togetherness. You know, not too many superstars, so they're able to fight for each other. Again, they do not concede too many goals. That game against Ukraine was hard if you watched it for the 2 legs. And the fact that they got away 1-0, it just shows you how mentally strong they are when they defend, especially when they go ahead. People like Gareth Bale have won titles outside there, so they understand. And Aaron Ramsey, they understand. And of course now James, who is a sprinter, they understand what it is when you get to these high-level competitions. They're able to churn off those abilities and those strengths, and they're able to get over the line. I might not say they will go really far, but I mean, for a first appearance in, I mean, whatever plus years, it's just good to have them back.
All right, the opponents are going to be the United States of America, another young squad by Coach Bradley.
Actually, the youngest squad.
The youngest squad, actually. Average age, 24.
Yeah.
The Welsh squad, average age, 25.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this squad with an average age of 24.
You know, America have only carried one player who's ever featured at a World Cup. Everyone else has never been to a World Cup. The whole idea is they're not building for this World Cup. For them, it's the next World Cup. Qatar, for all the money they have in the world, have taken all those years building academies, you know, taking 6 months off. USA, and even if you listen to their team talk when they spoke to President Biden, when he called on them, he says, I know you have a really good team. He didn't say, I know you have a great team, but the future is all for you to take it. And now, with an average age of 24, do the math, in the next 4 years, they'll have an average age of 28. The winner of the World Cup has always had an average age of around 27.5. Somewhere very close to that. So always looking forward to the future.
Okay, now, the coach, Greg Berhalter, his biggest standout name will be Christian Pulisic.
Yeah, I think Christian Pulisic, and there's the little man there called Weah, son to the president of Liberia.
By the way, you know, that's a little bit crazy because, you know, George Weah has taken leave from his country.
Yes.
He's in Qatar to go watch his son play.
Yes.
I mean, how crazy can that be?
You know, George Weah, after winning the World FIFA Player of the Year with Monaco, had a stint in America.
Yes.
So his son actually gained American citizenship. His son chose not to play for Liberia, but play for for the United States of America. He says sometimes you've got to let your children make their own decisions. If the kid is above 18 years old and he feels he can break into the American team, why not? For Liberia, he would probably just walk in without really having to do too much. For the USA, he has to work really, really hard to get in there.
Well, quite interesting that one of the biggest stories about George Weah is the top scorer for Liberia is James Deba.
Yes.
Who has been the national team coach, and not George Weah because he played in the midfield.
Yes.
Well, Liberia did that. But still bizarre, the president of Liberia is going to Qatar to watch his son play for the US.
Yeah.
And Timothy Weah has come through that under-20 rank.
Yeah. He's actually played all his age grade football in the United States of America. He's not had an opportunity to probably go to Europe, but for the club that he plays for, he is a consistent player. The American coach understands, and remember he's formerly coach of Philadelphia Union, I think, so he understands that league, he understands his strengths, and I think for that position, I don't think he has a really better player. Again, his partnership with Pulisic has been tested in the past. I was reading somewhere, they have never had the same team for the last 5 consecutive games. So this World Cup is for them to probably build a team together. Like I said, again, they're looking forward to the future.
Now, let's actually talk about 4-3-3.
Yeah.
Because that, if you take a look at it, it's something that's probably been adopted by, I think the biggest users of that formation are the Dutch.
Yes.
Anyone who's been Dutch coached ends up playing the 4-3-3.
Yeah. I think the whole idea for the 4-3-3 is to give a lot of attacking impetus, especially when going forward. When you are defending, for me it looks like a 4-5-1 of sorts, because now the wingers have to come back and be midfielders. Remember, the 4-3-3 is built on the fact that you will hold more of the ball against the opponent. So when you have more of the ball, have more of the numbers forward, but again have a strong defensive midfielder, and 2 very good attacking midfielders who as well can also be wingers when forced to.
Now, looking at the US vs Wales, where is that battle going to be? When we wake up tomorrow, what are the numbers we should be looking for as we, just to analyze this?
I think look at the midfield numbers. I think everyone is going to play a 4-3-3, trying to cancel each other out. So look for the midfield numbers. Again, look for the wingers numbers, because this system is built on having very fast wingers to be able to bring in the ball for the lone striker. As well, look for the striker's numbers, because he has to be an out-and-out number 9. Christian Pulisic, for me, has to be there. Gareth Bale is not as fast as he used to be, so he's going to be pushed more to the wing. So it means their 4-3-3 might, at some point, be a 4-5-1. But that said, look for the wingers' numbers.
Okay. Yes. So now, Agre, I know you were here. When Dr. Kamaku and Mary Njoroge were here talking about that. A quick take at some of the things you've noticed change from the 2018 World Cup and the 2022 World Cup in terms of players, refereeing, and how they behave on the pitch.
I actually was very shocked to see the VAR decision yesterday. For a moment, I said it should be a goal. It was actually not a goal, looking at it again. But I think the Premier League and the Champions League has really spoiled us, because they do the replay immediately. In the World Cup, it takes a while. And then the graphics, I think, are a little better as compared to what we have in the Premier League. The lines are not as drawn as we are used to them, but the graphics are more pronounced, so that you're able to see who is offside and who is onside. But I wish that even as they show us the graphics of the 2 players, then they're able to show the whole length of the pitch, so that we're able to actually see for ourselves how the offside is done. Because there's always an issue of probably a player at the far end of the pitch that you're not able to see. So I'll be looking forward to see how those graphics will be when probably there's an onside for a player, but actually he was at the far end of the pitch and the goal was scored on the other end of the pitch. So that is one of the differences I've seen. Another thing that I expected to see yesterday was actually, is it called the water break? The water break.
Yes, the water break.
Actually never saw it. So it means actually
that was in, they had them in Brazil every half hour.
Yes. I was shocked that I didn't see it, but again, it shows you then those ACs work really well, and there was no need for, a water break. And again, I think the atmosphere of the fans was really good. For an opening game, Qatar are not known to be the greatest of footballing fans. There's been issues of probably they hired fans to come and cheer them.
But you see, they don't. The thing is, they don't shout. They're not like us. But they love their football.
Yes,
and they watch quietly. They are not loud like us.
But I think they created an atmosphere yesterday. I'm not really sure if those are original Qataris.
Actually, they were from all over the world.
All over the world.
Because there's already a meme of somebody doing that younger thing.
Yes, so they're from all over the world. But again, it just shows you how much they've embraced, not just people in the country, but even people from outside who are even able to support them.
All right. John Agri, thank you very much.
Always a pleasure.
Yes. And remember, World Cup, Eco KBC. Remember, this afternoon, Dunda Qatar. Right here on this set, it is a program for the fans coming to you, so you can always have an opportunity. You'll be invited and also win some goodies right here in the KBC studios. And on behalf of the team that put this program together, or wherever they are, thank you to them, and to you, the viewer, asante sana. Our sign language interpreter has been Anwangeshi. My name is Daniel Wahome, and I'll live, and Nancy Okware comes in with Tam Rini next.